What's up everyone, welcome to the final part of Cuphead. 2 bosses left, it's time to actually pull my hair out. Or whatever's left on my head, I keep my hair cut relatively short. Inkwell Hell only houses 2 bosses, and one of them's the devil. Spoiler alert. Welcome to Hell. The end of the game is near, things will only get harder from here. Here's the Devil's Casino. The first boss of this establishment is King Dice, and if you played Stage 4 of Gunstar Heroes, this boss setup may look familiar. Well, looky here, you actually pulled it off, but you've made me lose a bet. And for that, you ain't seen the boss just yet. We're gonna play a little game first. Oh, that explains why King Dice wants to kill Cuphead all of a sudden. He lost a bet. Kind of like the protagonists. Anyway, Dice is a collective marathon of bosses. You roll the die, you get anywhere from a 1 to a 3, and you either get a break, extra health, or more likely, a boss fight. These guys are pretty tricky for first placeholder bosses. The giant flasks, oh, and they're the cops. Great. Sorry about that, where was I exactly? Oh yeah, the giant flask will pour whiskey from the top of the screen, the martini glass will shoot an olive that will flutter about the screen, and also the smaller whiskey glass will pour alcohol across the ground. You gotta pay close attention to what the characters are about to do on screen. You also gotta keep in mind that the bosses die one after another, so keep pressing the attack and dodge when you need to. Two down, 1 to go. And now the pattern is just the whiskey falling from the sky. The boss, or this particular boss, gets easier over time. You want to try your best to roll the die so that it lands on a break or a heart whenever possible. You could say I wasn't so lucky, but this is a good chance to see most of the bosses in the King Dice fight. There is a way to manipulate the die to get whatever you want, but you have to time it perfectly. Okay, maybe not perfectly, but you just time it correctly and you get whatever number you want. Here's the next boss, it's a giant sentient cigar. This guy will teleport between 2 platforms and shoot fireballs in a circle around the screen. You also gotta watch out for the cigarettes in the middle, they like to pop up out of nowhere sometimes. Smoking is bad, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, 420 was a couple of days ago, but no. Just no. I was never really interested in that, and I barely drink too, like I only drink on special occasions. Those special occasions being Christmas and my birthday, which are actually pretty close together. Ha! King Dice steps on the cigar guy. Do these guys even have names? I don't even know. It usually says the boss's name for the title card, but since King Dice is the perpetrator of this boss fight, and his name is on the title card, these side guys don't get their names shown anywhere in the game. It's kind of bizarre. Ah, fuck, I didn't time that right. You can time your parry with the die instead of it being up to chance. The Magician's Rabbit is a bit hard. He'll summon a bunch of skulls that will surround you. There will be an opening through one of the angles, but that's usually harder than it looks in some cases. The next attack is a couple of cards falling down the screen. You have to parry the pink card suits. And yep, just dead. Dying anywhere on this boss will bring you back to the very beginning, which is actually how the game works for the most part, but since there are so many bosses here, it's just more of a pain in the ass. King Dice, the TV screen is not edible, my guy. Anyway, the next boss is a stack of poker chips. I like the background here in a grimly morbid way. Anyway, this boss, what the hell even is this guy? The poker chips will toss themselves at you in segments. Wow, it's like I'm playing a completely different game. The boss's hitbox will be the blue poker chips, aka the head. That's where you want to aim at. I had more trouble with the root pack. This is baby's first Cuphead boss. This should have been at the beginning of the game. I like the skeletons though. Okay, the breather boss is done. It only gets harder from here. Can't even say I wish I was lying, but seriously, that last guy was a jiggity joke. Ha! Safe. You take that, asshole. Here's the rematch with the bunny, in which I win. So I show off whatever boss I can, cause I don't fight all of the bosses twice, or even once. Same thing as before, I die, and in the possible rematch, I just show off the victory, because I'm sure you guys don't want to see 50 attempts at the same guy over and over again. That's what I got the fail compilation for. I don't know how I could have avoided that without running into the rabbit. Here are the card icons again. I gotta parry the pink hearts. And checkmate. That's one boss down, probably 1,000 more to go. I want to get the heart, but I know I'm not going to because reasons. Ah, crap. Of course it's Snake Eyes. At least the boss I fight next is new. I like the racehorse gimmick with this boss. This is a really random comparison, but it reminds me of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. There's a tiny racehorse minigame in that game you can play for extra money, and it's incredibly luck-based, but it's a fun diversion. Anyway, Horsepower here has a tricky set of attacks, one of which has him shooting horseshoes in an 8-way spread. I also forgot to mention, well, you can probably see it on screen, side-scrolling shooter boss. This is the last one of its type. Actually, no, there's another one after this. Watch out for the other race horses on the floor. They come out at a constant rate too, and they shoot back at you, so be careful about that. The good thing about this guy is he doesn't have that much HP. He's one of the weaker bosses in this game. King Dice looks super slimy. I just love this game's art style. I said this before and I'll say it 1,000 more times. The way the old-fashioned film grain is integrated is perfect. If Studio MDHR had a black and white mode, this would fit like a glove. Oh, wait a minute, there is a black and white mode. Before I get to that, this boss fucking sucks. She rains these balls down from the sky in a weird pattern, and she'll dance across the screen. You'll have to parry the platforms in order to jump over her, which is way harder than it looks. Trust me, it's pretty tough. She makes 3 or 4 passes, and you gotta activate the platforms constantly. Okay, so about the black and white, yeah, I never touched that boss again. About the black and white mode, the turtle from Isle 3 will mention looking through the world in a shade of gray or something like that. There's actually some truth to that. It's simple and not so simple at the same time. You gotta get through every run and gun stage in the game without killing anything. I found this out a couple of days ago. I have never activated black and white mode in Cuphead before because quite frankly, I am not that good at the game. I'm not good at this game at all, actually. Anyway, with all my rambling, here's this guy. This boss is pretty self-explanatory. He shoots a bouncing ball thing that ricochets upon contact, and there are spikes everywhere, so you gotta be careful where you jump. But otherwise, this domino boss is not really that challenging. Okay, this boss is down, on to the next, and the next boss I fight in this video is pretty strange, if I do say so myself. I'm just gonna roll the die again and go from there. Yeah, King Dice. Wink at the screen, laugh, and then just eat the screen. Wait, I thought I cut this out. I already beat this guy. Okay, I did cut it out. What the hell was that? Honestly, I don't even know what day it is anymore. That's how hectic this game is. And my scheduling. Mostly this game, though. This guy doesn't move and his attacks are slow and predictable. Those blocks just move up and down, so you can easily run underneath them with no problem. And here's the third super art in action. Holding the right bumper will make it easier to aim. The more you stay on target, the more damage you'll do to the boss. This boss is also a breather. There are a couple of bosses like that in the King Dice fight. I swear I've seen this boss in a treasure game or two before, just without the 8-ball aesthetic. Back to the table. What will I get this time? It won. Oh, come on, again? This boss is iffy. It's set up like a memory card game. The monkey will move around the screen and you have to flip the cards and get to that match. That's when the boss will open up. And once it opens up, it will shoot a 6-way multi-shot. Alright, now I can finally attack this guy. Or I could just die. That's a good plan too. Alright, take 2. I don't like the fact that you have a short amount of time to shoot this guy. At least I got to this boss with a couple of hits left, unlike the last time. Using your special for this boss is a must if you want to get the most damage off. And yeah, that's pretty much the boss fight in a nutshell. It's kinda tedious. In fact, it's very, very tedious. Oh Christ, that was way too close. I honestly don't even know how I did not just get hit there. Four more turns left. This guy does not change his patterns, not even once. He just goes around the screen, shoots his 6-way spread shot, and then goes around the screen some more. That's it. And I think this boss has the most health out of any of the other side characters in this section. Oh, and this is the last side-scrolling shooter section in the entire game. Kind of disappointing that it ends like this with this freaking boring-ass boss, but okay then. I would rather have a rematch with Jimmy the Great in this guy's place. Like, this guy is, nothing. Can you die anytime soon, please? I'll take that as a no. Okay, fine, I'll just keep on shooting you over and over again. Here's the last stretch of the boss. Like I said before, he doesn't change at all. Okay, that's this boss out of the way. Thank God, on to the King Dice boss fight. Dice's attacks are only with cards. You have to time your parry with the pink cards. The patterns alternate from simple to really freaking accurate. Which I'm doing good to counter so far, but that's bound to change at any time. Okay, that was a good pattern right there. You want to watch out for where you land. You might end up landing on King Dice's hand, and that can actually hurt you too. Damn it! Oh, I think I landed on the cart right there. I'm gonna try and be more careful about that. This boss fight, or at least the King Dice portion of the boss fight is... Oh, son of a bitch. It's not that hard considering all the other boss fights you have to go through in order to get to this part. And also, dying at King Dice himself brings you back to the beginning of said boss fights, which is probably the most annoying part of this fight itself. And since King Dice is stationary for the most part, Super Art 3 will make mincemeat out of this guy. This is definitely worth taking damage over because he takes more damage than you do. You can even pick up a health point from that Super Art if you're quick enough. Unfortunately, that was way too high for me to actually reach it. Ah, damn it, I keep getting hit here. I didn't think King Dice would have this much health. What is going on here? He needs to die now. Okay, never mind. Just as I said he needs to die now, he in fact dies now. Freaking finally. I know for a fact that I did not get an A+ rank. But I do get an A rank, just literally one letter grade down. But with all that done, it's time for the final boss. But before I fight him, I'm going to show off the bad ending. Ladies and gentlemen, the devil in one hell of a time. Well, 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 look how far you come. Not only did you bust up my good-for-nothing lackey King Dice, but I see you've also got my soul contracts as agreed. Hand them over and join my team. Select yes and become the devil's puppets. You're mine now, and we're gonna have a hell of a time down here. Well, that was kinda dark. I like it. The credits play like normal, but I'm going to speed through it just because we're not at the end of the playthrough just yet. I don't even have to fast forward to footage, I'm just holding X, by the way. The funny thing about getting the bad ending is when you get back to the title screen, the opening song is played in reverse. Or the lyrics, rather, are in reverse. It's really bizarre and it's ominous. But let's pretend we didn't do that. Picking no will initiate the boss fight like normal, and the devil is one of the harder boss fights in the game, which is suitable for a last boss. Go with Super Art 3, the Chaser, the Spread Shot, and 5 hits. You'll stand more of a chance against the devil. Yada yada yada, join me and together we'll rule the galaxy as Lucifer and Cup. No thank you. Welching on me just like the others, eh? I'll teach you for backing out of a deal. Have at you! Great, everybody's stealing my fucking quotes. This load time for whatever reason is way longer than the other ones. The devil affected my console, god damn it!
This match will get red hot. It's on!
The final boss is hard. Several attacks to dodge and at the same time. One of these attacks is a crushing kick that is tricky to time. You basically have to jump up into the air and then dash at the last minute. There was another attack that was shown that was basically the devil just turning his head into a snake and slithering along the screen. And of course he had to hit me on the way back. Because he's a dick. I forgot about this attack. Probably the easiest of phase 1, these orbs will shoot for your location. There will be that pink orb that you can parry. Sometimes the patterns in which the orbs shoot will change, but it's basically the same, you just dodge the orbs either way. This particular attack is also simple. The devil's head come crashing down, you just juke left or right in order to avoid it. I died about 5 times on the final boss, and that's even with the different phases. There's just a lot of trial and error with this guy. But as long as you have the proper weapons, you'll take the devil down sooner rather than later. Oh, and the cronies. Definitely the worst part of this boss fight are the cronies that come in from the left and right portion of the screen. With the snake attack he does, just run to the opposite end of the screen where he pops up. That way he won't be able to reach you. Here's the orb attack again. Different pattern type but the same concept. Just avoid the fireballs. Okay, the devil is about to go into phase 2. You quickly go through that hole. You'll get damage if you stay here for too long. Alright, it's game time. The creepy devil will summon flaming poker chips down, which are immediately really hard to dodge consistently. Bombs also make a reappearance from the robot boss fight, and they cover a huge amount of screen space here. You gotta be careful. And not only that, there are hatchets that swing around in circles. You shoot him in the eyes enough and he'll start crying like a bitch. That's the cue that the final phase is about to start up. Super Art 3 is absolutely needed for this boss if you want to have a good time. Or if you want to kill him quickly, which is what I want to do today. Anyway, you gotta watch out throughout this boss fight. You're over a bombless pit here, and if you fall down there, you'll take damage. These 2 buffoons on the sides are really annoying if you let them go. You want to deal with the devil as quickly as possible in order to get rid of him. Shit, I just realized the pun I made on accident. Anyway, the last form, all you need to do is dodge teardrops and poker chips, which is easier said than done, but he will have very little health at this point, especially if you have Super Art 3 equipped. And yeah, the devil is defeated, and that was Cuphead, and I can't think of a better way to end the playthrough but with a B-. Bro, you suck. The brothers had triumphed over the devil, forcing him to finally give up. "We shall accept your surrender, devil," Cuphead laughed, "but we're not done yet." And with that, Cuphead and Mugman destroyed all the soul contracts, releasing Inkwell Isle's residents from eternal servitude to the devil. "Gosh, I can't wait to tell everybody," Cuphead said. The boys set off for home, and at top speed. "Come on, last one there's a leaky cup," Mugman teased as they ran. Once home, the brothers gathered everyone together. "You're all free from the devil's debt," Cuphead announced. And I turned the page way too quickly on that. The Elder Kettle was literally brimming with pride as everyone began to cheer. "Let's hear it for Cuphead and Mugman. Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!" As an all-day celebration began, the brothers promised to never wander into trouble again. And they didn't. Until next time, of course. But that is another story. Fantastic game. I highly recommend playing Cuphead, especially if you have a friend along, because trust me, we all need friends nowadays to help us out through shit. Anyway, my name is Don, and I'll see you next time.
Gambled with the devil. Thought he'd win a hefty purse. Mugman came along to help him. They just got worse.
That's all there is? There isn't anymore. Or is there?